Hey there, my name is Darson Grantham. In this video, I'm going to go over the different kind of pockets of Des Moines that you're going to see properties come up. And although it's all in the eye of the beholder of, what area is good and what area is bad, I'm going to give you my opinion and how I help investors kind of pick that area and make sure that they're buying a property that fits their needs and aren't buying something that they're going to sell in a year for a loss. Stay tuned. Now, one of the things when you're buying in an area that you don't know is you don't know what you don't know. And investors call me every day and they say, hey, what are the good areas to buy in and what are the bad areas to buy in as an investment? And I look at them and I say, it depends on who you are, what your situation is, and what you feel good about. For example, I walked through a property the other day that was pretty dirty in a rougher area of town, and the guy that came through, he was frustrated because of the way that they lived and the type of property and how he called the owner a slumlord. And I looked at him and I said, hey man, like these tenants are not forced to live here. There isn't much of a better option in Des Moines unless you live on the street if you can only pay $500 a month. And so the owner of this building, it isn't great. It is not upkept really well, but it is an option for people that live in that area to live and have a roof over their head. Yes, the owner could, over clean it and make sure that everything is looking good all the time and really, go to the nines. And that is a way to do business. But as an investor understand, there are some people that do that and some people that don't do that. And it's a different mindset for each person. And you can't, get mad at someone else for the way that they run their investments. So what you have to do as an investor is you have to look at an area and figure out what kind of a landlord am I going to be for this property? And is it different than what it currently is? Or is it the same? The area that you buy in and the type of building that you buy in that area is going to adjust and change how you view rentals or how you manage rentals or how your portfolio performs over time. So we'll start out, and I'm just going to go to multifamily because this gives you the best quick synopsis. And I'm going to do sales in the last 365 days. And we're going to do just because Polk, Dallas. And so on a map, this is multifamily. Obviously, there's single family rentals also, but this gives you an idea of where properties mostly sell that are multifamily. And I say multifamily, anywhere from 2 units up to probably, I think there's a couple larger ones, but 2 to 20 is probably what gets shown on this website. As you can see, your older Ankeny area, which is not a lot of new development. That's what these areas are. These mostly are duplexes. I think that might be a fourplex. But as you can see, these are a couple weird, I say weird ones because I believe they were bought without actually hitting the market. So they were 175, but I don't think that was a true market number on them. What I want to do here is show you most of the properties that come up for sale that are in areas that are people want to know about. This would be on the south side. So this would be your 50315, 50317. That's this area right here. And as you can see, Southeast 14th, there just isn't a lot to the east of there. It's really between Fleur and Highway 69, which is Southeast 14th Street. And it's a very blue collar area. I lived for 10 years right here, roughly right here. And we really liked it. It's blue collar, nothing. The city's not putting a ton of money into the area. It's just, it is what it is. And a lot of these areas also have single family rentals. I would call this a C plus B area, depending on the property, depending on the block that it's on. But really, you don't have a ton of crime here. And I'm just gonna pull up a crime map just so, as you can see, there's crime all across the city. It's a little bit, heavier right here, but really it's everywhere. And so if we dig down this way, I don't fetch data. I don't need to know exact data. Here's your area that we were just talking about. And along the main roads, go figure, there are more violence. So kind of in your neighborhoods, much, much less, as you can see. And even digging down, there's some burglary here and there. This is actually a really good part of town. Then there's a couple questionable apartment complexes right here. I say part of town. This is a very expensive houses area. So I guess burglary doesn't surprise me that much. But I think this is in the last date range. What is this? Oh, this is just in the last 7 days. Okay, let's do the previous 4 weeks. Okay, so there's some addition on there. Obviously, the fifth is just violence, people calling the cops, fighting or something. The ones that I worry about are the guns and maybe the burglary a little bit. But as you can see, as you move closer to downtown, you have more dense area. It's going to be more burglary, just inevitable. So some gun violence here. But this map doesn't do a good job of explaining how much or how bad it is, because I always tell people I'd walk with my family throughout Des Moines during the day on any road. It wouldn't bother me a bit. But anyway, let's dig back in here. Other, as you can see, small multifamily, they're going to fit kind of in this little zone right here. And that's where most of the small multifamily that get listed and sold in Des Moines are going to be. Now, let's dig in a little bit further on this area specifically. And a couple main roads to pay attention to would be MLK, which is this road right here. And so that the further to the east, I guess just in general on that MLK, you have more rundown houses. You have the city's putting money into it, but it's not doing a whole lot right now. So you got MLK, and then you have Beaverdale, which is a very sought after area. And so it kind of chunks out Beaver Ave over to 30th. It's a really good area. I'd say B type area. And then the further west you go, kind of the better, less crime, better you're going to get, better, nicer, well-kept houses. Now, the interesting thing is this is all one school district, Des Moines City Independent School District. So school district in this area really is irrelevant until you get over to, close this, until you get over to West Des Moines, and you're going to get into just a different school, West Des Moines schools. So I believe 63rd splits it. So that's kind of your West Des Moines school district, which is going to be much more sought after than your Des Moines public schools school district. Not that it's bad, not that it's worse, not that it's better, just is what it is. Windsor Heights is a good little area, very small city that I want to say they have. It's not a lot, 1,000 houses maybe, but it's kind of a city within the city in general. And then when we move up kind of to the north, Euclid or Hickman is another, or excuse me, Douglas. Douglas turns into Euclid, another area. This is still Beaverdale. This is going to be a B type area to buy in. Once you cross over kind of this river, you're going to be looking at more of a C to C minus type area. The city's putting a lot of money into Highland Park, Oak Park, River Bend, Union Park. There's a lot of money that's going into these areas, but it's still areas that are more run down, more crappy houses. And I'm going to prove that. Actually, I'm going to change up my situation. I'm going to go to residential. I'm just going to look at houses under 120,000 that are active. And as you can see, those houses are in kind of that eastern side. There's not much in Beaverdale that's going to be that cheap. There's going to be a lot more in your Oak Park, Highland Park, Union Park, River Bend. And then over here, even further to the east, you have the west of the fairgrounds, and then north of University, which is over by the fairgrounds. And these are areas that the city is not putting a lot of money into, but you're going to cash flow better out of a rental in this area than you are in the further west you go. One thing I wanted to point out is, as you can see, on the south side, you have some houses that fit in that mark, but not a ton. 50 one bed. So it gives you an idea of what's even shown for single family. So this would just be single families under 120,000. And so I want you to kind of see, when you're buying rentals and you're trying to hit that 1% rule, you're really probably looking at, you're going to be looking at to the east of Beaverdale. You're going to be looking at those up and coming neighborhoods, your Oak Park, Union Park, Highland Park, River Bend. And if you're looking in those areas, you can get some numbers that might fit close to the 1% rule, but it's really tough. Your 1% rule, you should be able to find some 1% rules over here. And if you don't understand what the 1% rule is, basically, if you have a $100,000 house, it needs to rent for $1,000 a month. And it's really tough to come by. Usually you're going to fit that rule if you get closer to the buying it at $120,000, $130,000, and it rents for $1,200 to $1,300 a month. That's really tough to get here in Des Moines, but you can do it. And that's something that our team and my team does to find investors' properties. So if you are looking for an investment property and you want to see what numbers fit in each area and what types of properties come up, please reach out. We can do an even deeper dive into the properties that are actually listed that fit what investing portfolio and asset management that you're looking for. We will connect you with whoever it needs to be, whether it's property managers, whether it's lenders, or we just need to put offers in on properties. We do it every day for investors that are buying in Des Moines. If you found this helpful, please look at any of these other videos that I have posted here that are here to help investors make good purchases in Des Moines, Iowa.